This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
Hello and welcome to Because of China, a special year-end program brought to you by The Point on CGTN. My name is Liu Xin and I'm host of The Point. Now, in 2017, since we launched this program, we've talked about many serious subjects. Earthquakes, presidential elections, nuclear tests, missile tests, all of that. But what about the people who are living right around us in our own very communities? What is their story for 2017? That's why we have invited a number of China pros to share with us their story for 2017. Their stories can be as different as they are, but there's one thing in common. They all happened because of their connections with China. So the stage is going to be theirs for them to sing, to speak, to dance, whichever way they like. A teenager, at the age of 4, her father made the choice for her that her future is going to be in China. And her name is Happy Rogers.
大家好，大家好，我的名字是快乐罗杰斯，我今年14岁，我来自美国，2003年在纽约出生。我的父母一直都认为中国越来越重要，所以希望我长大后可以说出一口流利的中文。2007年就决定把我们整家都搬到新加坡住。 现在我已经爱上了中文，喜欢用中文唱歌、辩论、讲故事、演讲等等。今天我好开心来到这里和大家一起说一说我学习中文的经验和在中国度过的美好时光。Hi everyone, my name is Happy Rogers. I'm 14 years old and I am an American. But I love Chinese so much. So I am thrilled to be here today to talk to all of you about my love for Chinese, my learning Chinese and those experiences, and my experiences in China. My favorite story that my parents tell about me and Chinese. The first time I was ever in Shanghai when I was 2.5 years old. We loved strolling up and down Nanjing Road, and all the uncles and aunties would look at me fondly, tottering about in my little tiny squeaky shoes. But then I would open my mouth and say, 你好,大家好, and all of their jaws would drop, literally in shock, excitement, awe, surprise. Of course, we would all chuckle, because I love Chinese, and I've been asked by so many people, are you actually Russian? Are you one of the rare Chinese ethnic groups that look Caucasian? Are you adopted by a Chinese family? Another way that I love to explore my Mandarin is through Instagram. I go by The Blonde Chinese because I am blonde-ish and kind of look like a blonde Barbie. And my mother insisted that if a 12-year-old were to actually have a public account, it had to be in Chinese. So the blonde Chinese seemed quite accurate. And my sister, she speaks Chinese too. She's 9 years old. And so whenever we have a little secret something that we want to share in Chinese, but we cannot have our parents' understanding, without fail, we slip into Chinese. And our parents are none the wiser. There is a little problem. Recently, my parents, especially my mother, though they cannot still speak the language, their understanding has gotten so much better that we've been caught once or twice or 10 times. And my parents, they are so keen on me learning Mandarin. My father one time came home from China when I was only 5 years old with all 52 DVD episodes of 西游记, The Monkey King. And within a week, I'd watched all of them. And for a long time after that, I decided that I was Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. And I had magical powers and could roll around and do all sorts of things. Very quickly, before I leave you, I'd like to do one of my favorite Chinese poems from the Song Dynasty. It describes a beautiful mountaintop village somewhere in China. I hope you enjoy. 最后，我想为大家朗诵一首诗，我最喜欢的《山村咏怀》，邵雍。一去2、3里，烟村4、5家，亭台6、7座，8、9、10枝花。谢谢大家 ，Thank you。
Wow, happy, happy. So well, such
Thank
a
you so much.
moving song. Thank you, thank you. I'm a little bit afraid here. You know why?
Don't be.
Because my daughter is also 14 and I'm very careful what I say and how I say it to her. But the question is, your father chose the country for you and that you're going to live a Chinese life or let's say a bilingual life and you accepted that. You agree with it?
Absolutely, I love Chinese, but I mean, I was 4 years old. I couldn't very well say, no, I'm not going to move to Singapore because it was my parents' decision.
But do you think it's the right choice?
Definitely. I completely agree with my parents that China is on the rise. I mean, just look at Beijing, where we are now. It's bustling, it's full of energy. It's one of the few cities in the world that you arrive and you just know that it's on the rise. In fact, it's already there. So China's definitely becoming the next superpower.
Yeah. Well, you think so, but honestly, I would like to tell you a true story. I was chatting with somebody in Switzerland and just some random person that I met in the restaurant. And he said, well, Chinese is important, but for Chinese to overtake English is going to take another 100 years, maybe. A lot of people don't agree with you that China or Chinese is the future.
I don't think so. 1.3 billion people speak Chinese. That is a lot of people. So many people speak Chinese.
That's true.
And it is really on the rise. And I'm not just parroting my parents, what they say. I really believe it. We come to China so much. I've been to Tai'an, Nanjing, Shanghai, Qufu, Suzhou, so many places. And everywhere I go, I am impressed by the history, the qipaos, the people, the dumplings, because I am the world's #1 fan of xiaolongbao.
Xiaolongbao.
Yeah. I love China. I really think that it's on the rise and it's becoming important.
So what are you going to do in the future? Do you have an idea?
Well, I want to come to China and become an actress.
Actress.
Because I think that if I were to go to Hollywood or America, there's so many people who look exactly like me and can speak English just as well as I can. But if I come to China, this little xiao yang niu, this little Barbie doll, who can speak Chinese, that is something different.
Well, you know, there are a lot of people who are coming to China and looking for that kind of opportunity as well.
I hope so. I hope I can do it.
What do you find the most difficult in learning Chinese or living in China? Is there anything difficult for you?
Well, I live in Singapore and I go to bilingual school, so we learn just as much Chinese as we learn English. Probably the most difficult thing, I think, for all Chinese-speaking students or Chinese-learning students is to write 作文, compositions. That is always difficult.
How is your writing, by the way?
Oh, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, as the other Chinese students in your same...
I'm the only Caucasian student in my entire school, and I think that it's okay. I don't want to...
Because for a lot of people, speaking Chinese is difficult, okay, but you can manage it. But to write it is like the most difficult thing in the world, right? No?
Well, of course it's difficult, but I still love it. It's a part of learning the language.
How do you practice? How much time you spend on it?
I try to watch Chinese movies, read Chinese books just as much as I do so in English so that I can have the full exposure. We also have a Chinese governess who comes every day to learn Mandarin with me since my parents are Americans and don't speak Chinese. So we need to have that exposure to be able to learn the Chinese.
Are you afraid, or are your parents afraid that one day they might not be able to understand you culturally, that you might have a cultural gap between you?
I don't think so, because my parents are American, so we have that exposure as well and that experience at home. So I am a bilingual, bicultural kid. Even though I look American, I understand Chinese and I love the language and the country.
When you go back to the United States, when you meet your friends, your family, your relatives, how does it feel?
They all think I should be speaking Spanish or French. They
Why?
don't understand the Chinese.
Why are you speaking Chinese?
It's one of the reasons we moved to Singapore, actually, because whenever I went to the park, the playground, at school, all the kids are like, why aren't you learning Spanish or French? And so I came home and wanted to learn Spanish or French. And then my parents decided, this is it. We need to move to Singapore or China so that we can expose her to Chinese.
Your father has the vision, right? He sees where the future...
And my mother.
And your mother as well. Yeah, they, like minds gather. But it seems there is a trend of more and more people wanting to study Chinese still. I mean, we all know that the granddaughter of President Trump, Arabella, making a hit on the internet when she was speaking Chinese. Do you think there are more people getting interested in this?
Absolutely. I don't know if you know the song by SHE, She, 中国话, with the rap and the singing. It came out a few years ago. And
what is it called?
中国话.
中国话.
So basically
okay.
Chinese.
How do you know how to sing it?
I don't know how to sing it because
does anybody somebody say
rap.
yeah there?
It has a crazy rap, which is really, really, really fast, and I can't sing it. But it, yes, this one. So it talks about how Chinese, everyone around the world is starting to learn Chinese.
I need to learn to speak Chinese too because I speak too much English. No, just kidding. So finally, do you want to teach me something in Chinese? Maybe a tongue twister, or something you want?
Well, I can teach. You know the poem that I just did? 山村咏怀.
Oh my goodness.
It's actually,
it's
simple, but it describes such a beautiful scene in Mountaintop Village because it uses the numbers 1 to 10. So that's why I love it so much. And anyone can do it, but it depicts such a beautiful image.
I know.
So, 一去.
Just a moment. The reason I hesitated a little bit because as Chinese, I'm supposed to
sure,
know
you can speak Chinese.
I can speak Chinese, but I can't recite these poems. And the thing really is, in China, a lot of people speak so much English that we're also forgetting a little bit the Chinese. And the Chinese poems, there are so many. They're so, sometimes you just lose focus. But, okay, far away, teach me, but really slowly.
一去2、3里.
一去2、3里.
烟村4、5家.
烟村4、5家.
亭台6、7座.
亭台6、7座.
8、9、10枝花.
8、9、10枝花.
对了，太好了。
谢谢我的小老师。谢谢。But by speaking it, the beauty also comes to you, right? There's a feeling to it. It's really, yeah, we need to pay more attention to traditional Chinese culture. And thanks to
Thank you so much
like
for having me. 谢谢。
Like your parents who really remind us the importance of Chinese. All the very best to you in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
再见，谢谢。
Once again. Raz Galor comes from Israel. He has started an association in Beijing, in China, that's called Foreigner Research Association. What he does is he goes onto the streets and he interviews random people, most of them foreigners, to ask them about random things in China, and then he makes a video and puts it online. But he has become so, or the association has become so popular that he has over 3 million followers on the Chinese equivalent of Facebook, and every time he posts a video, the number of clicks could exceed 10 million. So what has his research taught him, and why is his video so popular? Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to Raz Galor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Raz, and I'm from Israel. It's an honor to be on this show. I've been in China for over 10 years. I spent my time 5 years in Hong Kong and 5 years in Beijing. I'm currently a fourth-year student, an undergrad student at Peking University. I'm also a founder of a popular media channel called the Foreign Research Institute, or in short, how we call it on our Facebook and YouTube channels, Why China. Today I want to tell you a story about entrepreneurship. I think a lot of us, foreigners living here in China, are wondering what are the kind of opportunities, career opportunities, what can we do here in China? Me, very early on, I come from a country that really pushes for creation, innovation, and entrepreneurship. My father himself is a businessman, and he's been an investor for over 30 years. In 2003, he decided that the next opportunity for him to explore is China. So, very early on, he moved my entire family when I was just 13 years old, and I could only speak one language, Hebrew. He moved us to China with a vision to invest, explore this amazing growing culture. I never imagined that after finishing high school, I would still decide to continue my university studies in Peking University. My Chinese actually has been learned through a lot of effort, talking, learning, being with Chinese people. I've completely taken a local life. And this kind of inspiration, this kind of life of localizing yourself in China, speaking everyday Chinese, using only the Chinese apps and applications, trying to engage every day, reading, learning this language, it got me to a point that I want to do something with it. And that's where I want to talk about today, entrepreneurship, and how each one of us here, each person who lives in China, can take part of this incredible revolution. So, when I started my university in Peking University, when I started my studies, I chose international relations with a great passion to try to connect more people around the world to this growing nation, China. At some point, I met incredible Chinese friends, people with vision, dynamic Chinese young people that dream of changing this world. In Peking University and many universities in China, there's a new generation of Chinese friends who are thinking they can make it big. They're building companies, they're starting, they're taking risks, they're trying to take this incredible new generation of internet, these new opportunities, and make something with it. So, I met a partner, and we decided together to create a platform called the Foreign Research Institute, in order to show the world more people like us. Sitting here, there's people with incredible stories. And I have my own little story. I am an Israeli who took China as where I want to live and study, and I thought this is my future. And I think many are like me. So we took onto the streets. We said, we're going to take a camera, and we're going to film and show the world, this generation, every person sitting here in this, you're all part of what we're trying to do. And this little video, we just posted a video about how foreigners think of the Chinese WeChat. WeChat is the incredible app that includes many things. And that video, overnight, we just posted it on Weibo, one of the Chinese social media platforms. It reached 3.5 million views in 24 hours. Got us 100,000 fans, all from just an idea. And that's where we saw an opportunity. So we started creating more and more videos on the Chinese internet. And we're just students, remember. We're just students with passion for communication. And we want to show the world how foreigners in China think of this incredible new generation of Chinese people, of Chinese society that's building in front of us. So yes, that's how my little entrepreneurship story came to be. Right now, we do have around 3 million followers on the Weibo channel, also with other channels like Bilibili, Youku, iQIYI, Jimmy Toutiao, many other social platforms. In total, we have 5.5 million followers and reach average of 10 million views a video. But that's not the big point. What I'm trying to say is that anyone with a little idea, a little dream, with a low cost, can make his way in China. Any person here who just have a little passion to what's happening in his life here can take on, film himself, even film a video, and make a lot of people to like it. I really want to thank my father for giving this opportunity to come here, just like we had this incredible guest to talk about how their parents give her the opportunity to be here and learn Chinese. I think more and more parents around the world support this. More and more young people accept it. And more than that, more and more young people want to do something with it. We're not just here to learn the language, people. We're here to decide our future. There's a concept called the Chinese dream, but I think it's more than this. I think China just gave us an opportunity. And you just have to believe in it, engage in it, take it, and don't be scared. There's people around here to support you. More and more Chinese association companies accept foreigners, and that's why we exist. We want to connect the world more and more to China. The last part of my speech, I want to talk to you about our future, and that's a very interesting one. We started the first year, we started in January 2017. We started with making content for Chinese audience. We want to show the Chinese people how people like us live and think of China. We make really funny topics, from Chinese apps, to dating apps, to Chinese TV shows, to Chinese technology. We went all around the country. We went to Shenzhen, to Shanghai, we went even to Qinghai. We went to many spaces to film. But this is mainly made for the Chinese audience. The future is where? The future is to take what's happening here in modern China and spread it to the world. To take this concept, take this creation, take our lives, and share it with people all around the world on the Western social networks, on any other social networks. That means Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. In the future, you will see us doing all we can to make more and more people understand what's happening here in China. We're going to show them a really great balance of entertainment and education. You'll be able to laugh and see a generation of Chinese speakers like us here who really have a passion for what they do. At the same time, you'll be able to learn what you can do here, what kind of jobs are here, what kind of opportunity to study here. This platform is called Y China. Why? The letter Y, China. Because we want to get the people who are curious about China from the United States all the way to Africa, all the way to Australia and any country in the world. Give you a better angle using a short video to understand what's happening here in China. And hopefully inspire more people to come here to understand China and show them the real life here in China. And that's what's the future for us. So to conclude, I would like to thank every person who took this challenge on himself to come here and live here. And everyone is welcome to be on our show. We feature many people all around the world. We film every week many videos. If you want to share your opinion, if you want to be a star, some of our people, we actually have many foreigners who overnight got 100,000 followers just from being on one of our videos.
I want to be on the
Oh, no problem. We're a place to show people a new generation of foreigners. We call this generation the Foreigner 2.0, and we're all part of this. Thank you very much, and hope to continue to support us for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Raz. Wow, that was really inspirational, right? You get excited hearing all of that, and you have done it. You have made it, basically, right?
Oh, no, we just started. We just...
No, you have seen what it can be, right?
Yes, we've seen the power of the Chinese internet, Chinese
Yeah.
opportunity, the Chinese entrepreneurship. It's very powerful.
Good.
Yeah.
What intrigues me is the name of this association, though, that is called, in Chinese, 外国人研究协会. That's very funny. Because if you translate it literally, that means, what, Deformed Nuts Association? Did you choose this name by purpose?
So, you know, Chinese has the traditional Chinese that we spoke, and there's also simplified Chinese. However, there's another new Chinese language that's slang Chinese or internet Chinese. And you know, Y Goren, just to say the word foreigner, it means Y Goren. However, there is a little joke on the Chinese internet. When us foreigners usually say Y Goren, we have this accent on us. And it actually sounds like Y Goren. So a lot of times, a lot of Chinese people use foreigner in the internet like as how we put our name, Y Goren, which actually translates to like
Deformed nuts.
It's translated deformed nuts, but it's actually just different tones.
Yeah.
And it's actually a really cute phrase to describe foreigner. So we thought it's a really catchy slang. So we called it the Y Goren Yanjiu Shehui, the Foreigners Research Institute. Yeah.
But also, I think it's kind of making fun of yourselves, right?
Right.
And I think there is a certain level, a certain element of sarcasm, or you know, that we are kind of crazy because we plunge into this Chinese world and
Yes.
we don't want to go.
You got it. This is exactly what it is. Like, there's so much sarcasm, so much jokes. There's so many culture barriers that create humor. It doesn't create just difficulties. And we think because of the culture barrier, we should embrace it rather than take it as a bad thing. And that's why our videos are very entertaining. They show some really, maybe some things you won't really see day to day, but they take a humoristic, sarcastic view of our lives. Yeah. And that's why it's popular as well. Look at how YouTube, Facebook videos, a lot of them are just more exaggerated, more funny. People like to make fun of themselves. So I think that's also part of our approach to videos. We're showing the fun side, the funny side of our lives.
What was the most funny comments you got on the streets of Beijing? And or what is the subject that people have the funniest comments about most often?
There's many comments because we are a research institute by definition, so we explore many topics.
Yeah.
I think something really interesting is that like there is this phenomena that red pocket, hongbao, right? And
red envelopes,
right,
where
red
people
envelopes,
put gift
sorry.
money in.
Right. And this culture is onto the online, on WeChat. All of us know on WhatsApp you don't have that, but on WeChat you can send these gifts. So we were doing this video about what foreigners think of red pockets.
Yeah.
And there's this one woman, she was from Germany. She told us she studies here in Beijing, but she makes 8,000 kwai a month just being at home. We asked her how. She says she joins many WeChat groups of many Chinese friends who have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then just picks up the red pockets.
Really?
And she makes 8,000 a month from that. So we were like,
Oh
how
my
is it possible?
goodness.
It's like a foreigner taking this Chinese habit on the internet.
Was she being serious?
I think she was, because she looked like she was dead serious, and it was incredible, you know? Like, so there's some really interesting phenomena that you won't understand foreigners
Yeah.
would take such a Chinese habit so deep, but it exists, and it's really funny. And there's many more comments. You can go and watch our videos. It's quite funny.
What do you think is the difficulty, though, of telling what you have found in China? Because a lot of people, when they come to China, they're so surprised because it's totally different from what they see
Yes.
while they were outside of China. What do you think is going to bring your stories and have the same kind of effect when you put it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram?
That's a great question, and that's why I think I'm here to talk to people here all around the world. I am just an Israeli guy who lived in China for a long time. I don't have the full perspective of what interests every nation about China. So our approach is simple. We want to create, we don't think we understand what's going to work. We want to create this kind of a united group of representatives in each country, and each of them, we will, according to their special interest in China, will create content for them. So we already set up in New York. We already have our team in New York trying to create content designed more for New Yorkers or Americans. We're trying to explore different regions. But I think the most interesting thing about China is three things. First, the Chinese technology. I think there's incredible boost of Chinese innovation around the world. And you see it all the way from the drone technology to the bike sharing to the phones. There is incredible innovation. For people around the world, innovation is always a great topic that China can engulf. Secondly, is career opportunities. I think in China there's more and more opportunities to work here. So if people can, through our videos, understand what you can do here besides just doing the basics, maybe teaching English something, you can do much more. You can work at internet companies, you can work in startups, you can build your own company.
Teaching English belongs to the older generation.
Right, the foreigner 2.0 can do so much more,
Foreigners 2.0, yeah.
And then the thirdly is studying. I think Chinese universities, I am absolutely shocked by the amount of things I learned in my university about Chinese diplomacy, Chinese way of thinking. And I think this kind of academic sphere here is very unique. It's in Chinese language, but it's worth for people to understand opportunities here, because if you don't come here, you don't learn, you don't know. And I think for people around the world, academics, studying is something very important to communicate to them through our videos.
Absolutely, absolutely. However, to wrap up, my last question, and I give you one sentence to answer. What would be an advice for people who want to follow your footsteps? To be aware of in China. China is full of opportunities, but you know, there are also a lot of difficulties. If you're going to give them one sentence, what will it be?
One advice for people to be aware, I think just come and try. Just try things. Don't be scared to fail. Don't be scared. Nobody is qualified for anything. Any person from start 0 point. Just do what you believe in. Take on the challenge. You're in China, don't just learn Chinese, do something with it. That's what I did. I just went on and tried, went on the street with a video camera, and it got me to a decent place. So try and fail, guys. Don't be scared of failure. In China, everything is possible.
失败是成功之母.
Here you go.
Thank you very much, Raz.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All the best for the future.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for watching this program. You can always see more of these stories on the internet by going to YouTube, for instance, typing CGTN The Point and search for their stories. Follow me on Twitter or Facebook using the handle The Point with LX. Download the application called CGTN Live. And always tune in to The Point, Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 10 in the evening, Beijing time. See you in the new year and wish you all the very best. Bye-bye. Thank you. You made it. Thank you very much.
This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.